Hey, Gox here. So this is probably going to be one of the most important videos you watch all year on the actual, play of Madden. Now, how we got these numbers is Mutt Leaks. You probably know him from Twitter, leaking a lot of different images, which he said EA's kind of just shut down the last, day or so with some of their strings. So that might not work as much as future, but basically in the last, month, 2 months, he's been focusing on what is going on with Madden behind the scenes. He'll talk about this more on Twitter, so go follow him there. I'll link it in the description. And I kind of want to go through it in the coaching adjustment deep dive here too, and kind of try and make it make sense. A lot of nerd stuff ahead, so hopefully it makes, hopefully catch a little bit of it, and we'll talk about how it affects. So if you recall, on the coaching adjustment screens, there's, tackling, conservative, aggressive, carrying, blocking, strip ball, ball in air, option. And now here are the attribute increases and decreases for each one of those. I will say, I do believe he did this from PC, and PC, if you recall, is the last gen version of the game. But a lot of this stuff, they basically are the same game with the exception of a few differences like movement and everything. But a lot of this stuff most likely carries over to both next gen and old gen. So tackle conservative, 15% fake out decrease, as you know, like when you get juked out and your guy gets an animation, 100% hit stick decrease, 20% wrap off increase. Now, I don't know what a wrap off increase means, but I'm guessing that is the ability for them to break your tackle. So 20% break tackle or wrap down and drag down increase. Okay, aggressive, tackling aggressive means you lower better hit sticks, 40% hit stick increase, 50% tackle decrease. So they're more likely to break your tackles, but you got a bigger hit stick increase, and you got a better chance you can juke out of your shoes. But generally, when you turn a tackle aggressive on, it's at the end of the game. So they'll probably have to tackle ball carrier conservative on at that point, so they're not going to try and fake you out that much. But that's the kind of trade off. You're getting better hit sticks, but you're losing your ability to really react to the jukes, and you're getting your tackle broken by the Derrick Henrys of the world. Carrying conservative, 30% break tackle decrease, 15% fumble decrease. So a lot of people, when they turn on conservative, they're like, I shouldn't fumble at all. And that's clearly not the case based off the numbers. You only get a flat 15% fumble decrease on conservative carrying. Disable special moves and force tier 3. I don't know what tier 3 means, but disabling special moves like juke, spins. You can't even go to the ground on conservative carrying. It's really weird. Dive to the ground. Carrying aggressive, 30% break tackle increase and a 20% fumble chance increase. I don't know if anybody's run on carrying aggressive this year at all. I personally have not, but 30% tackle increase, that would be even crazier if with the Vita Veas, the Derrick Henrys of the world, the ones that are fast, big, and strong, even breaking more tackles. That's tough, but we'll talk about fumble chance increase. I want to talk about when we go to juking and jumping and stuff, but just have that number in your mind. Fumble chance increase at 20% on carrying aggressive, according to the numbers behind the scene. Blocking conservative, a 25% blocking decrease, a 10% holding decrease. Now in Mutt, holding is basically turned off, so this is nothing in Mutt. This is probably for sim modes, because blocking aggressive, there's a 12% holding increase. Blocking aggressive in Mutt means they turn holding on, just FYI. So blocking aggressive, I feel like in Mutt is definitely not worth it. We'll talk about the rest of the boost in a second. 100% impact block clipping decrease, 35% impact blocking decrease. So basically what we're seeing is, I think impact block clipping might be when you hit somebody and you bowl them over, okay? Because you also lose impact blocking, 35%. So you're not going to really do a great job there with blocking conservative. Blocking aggressive though, you get a 7.5% blocking increase, 5% block clipping increase, and a 500% impact blocking increase. So much better chance of winning the impact block on blocking aggressive. If you maybe try it with powers and stuff. The only downside is dude, a holding can kill you. And so having holding just turned off in Mutt, except for when you have blocking aggressive on, really makes it a hard sell, I think, to myself. Now you guys can maybe think it's worth it if you guys want more impact blocking on it. Strip ball conservative, there's a 40% break tackle decrease. It might actually be worth it to do this, right? Because how many tackles have we had broken this year? A ton, right? The natural tackle break is insane on the Derrick Henrys of the world, but I don't think I've seen a single strip. Well, no, I have seen strips, but they're so rare that I think strip ball conservative might be the move, and something I moved to after reading these numbers. There is 100% strip decrease user plus CPU, okay? Aggressive. They're gonna break your tackle better. A 50% strip increase, okay? So you got a better chance of stripping the ball. 15% face mask increase. Also turns face mask penalties on in MUT. And then 150% face mask modifier increase. So just FYI, strip ball aggressive, maybe at the end of the game, could be worth it if you really need a turnover, but there's so many face masks that get called, whereas like you had 0 face masks before. I think strip ball conservative might be what I move to going forward, though, to have better run defense and get my tackles broken less. Ball in air, play ball. The only issue is like quarterback fumbling. A lot of times you get quarterback fumbles on strip balls. So that's the downside, is like if you hit the quarterback in the pocket, and like maybe this is like strip ball if they were facing a runner, go conservative, but if you're facing a passer, it might be worth it to leave it on normal, because strip sacks in the pocket basically change the entire momentum of the game sometimes. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now in strip ball. Ball in air, play ball, 20% catch increase, 100% break tackle increase also. So what I'm seeing is 20% catch increase on play ball, okay? That means you had a better chance when you go up 1v1 versus a receiver. Now, if you guys watch me on stream, if you watch my second channel last game where a guy was just throwing streaks, I got caught over quite a bit, right? But he also, if you miss catching the ball, they're going to break your tackle after the catch. So that's like the high risk, high reward of play ball. Play man, you probably won't catch the ball, but you'll tackle them. I think there's like, I don't know if I like that. There's also, where's swap ball? I thought there's one. I went through all these things before. There's also swap ball here in somewhere, and I'll talk about that in a second. Option, aggressive, 100% increase in zone distance and spy blitz dist weight. I don't know what the spy blitz dist weight means, but passive, we know. Aggressive and passive, basically play the quarterback, play the running back. Spy blitz dist weight. I don't know. I don't know what that one is in particular. All right, next one in the series. Traits deep. This is going to be a long video. Traits deep dive. 10% chance to drop open passes. Distance and angles. Did I mess this up? No. What am I missing? No. This is right. This is the drop open passes trait. Okay, so it's just not labeled right. Distance and angles. This is him modifying check the defenders, not catching a drop. All right, 10% chance to drop open passes with drop open passes trait. Now, I haven't really seen the drop open passes trait really appear this year in MUT, but it's there. Applies to rack and secure catches. Does not apply to aggressive catches in regards to the is open flag. If at an odd angle, but inside. So this is all like, whatever. I wouldn't really listen to this stuff. It's him talking about mechanics. If you're that interested in it, you can read yourself. Max wobble on passes where tight spiral trait is 0.15. Without tight spiral trait is 1.25. So if you guys recall, Derrick Henry throws the ball with wobble. Okay, now what does that mean? Wobble curve scales the throw power. Use 2 different graphs for trait, no trait. The curve without the trait, so tight spiral, yes. No, tight spiral, no. Has 50% more wobble at 99. Wobble seems to affect arc float depending on pass angle type. So it wobble just affects the flight of the pass. Well, is it that big of a deal? It definitely affects things on Derrick Henry, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's interesting though that it is in the game. Covers ball versus medium hitters. Covers balls with big hitters. The hit threshold's 90, so your guy will automatically try and cover the ball if a medium hitter over 50 hit power is coming towards them. Otherwise, if he only has a big hitter trait, it's 90. They'll try to cover ball. So cover ball. It was bigger, I feel like, in previous years. I don't see my running backs fumble as much lately from big hit sticks. It's mostly my quarterbacks and wide receivers. Undisciplined penalty traits add 20% holding penalty. That's only for like sim mode. Pressing adds 25% defensive holding modifier. The pressing trait. Pressing. Oh. Undisciplined penalty. So if you have the undisciplined penalty trait and you press in sim mode, it adds a 25% defensive holding modifier with the undisciplined penalty trait. In order for pass rush traits to work, you need to rush 3+. Random false start penalties are enabled after 3 audibles, and there's a 3-play cooldown between. So if you get false started, what MUT Leagues is saying is that, if you take 5-yard penalties, then you can do like 3 audibles over and over for 3-play cooldown. So you won't get it over and over and over is what, according to the code he has on PC there. Away team has a 35% chance greater of getting a false start. Home team has 35% chance less. Score gap has an impact on the false start frequency. If you're down 11 points. I guess you don't get as much false starts, maybe because the crowd noise won't be as loud is what they're thinking. Undisciplined penalty trait adds 30% false start increase modifier. This is a lot for franchise, not so much for MUT. Undisciplined penalty adds 30% defensive holding, again for franchise. 15% offensive holding chance for if you have the undisciplined. Obviously, disciplined penalty traits for all these things decreases or adds a 90% offensive holding chance decrease modifier. So decreases offensive holding by 90% being disciplined. Very important. It's not a bad idea. Like if you decide to go blocking aggressive, like we talked about on this pledge right here, blocking aggressive, you have the chance. You get like a big bonus to like impact and blocking. And then if you stack that with disciplined players, you still get holding once in a while, but a 90% decrease on the holding calls if you have a disciplined offensive lineman. So just an FYI of how to like stack these things together to make them dominant, right? And that's kind of what we're looking for here. Wait, hang on a second. Let's move this up a little bit. There it is. So that's kind of what we're looking at right there with the stats and how to stack them together. Undisciplined penalty, 45% face mask. So same thing with strip ball. You can get a 60% face mask decrease modifier if you go strip aggressive. So something that like you want to build your team around if you decide to build it that way. Might not be a bad idea to experiment with disciplined players and the tackling or blocking and strip ball on. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this one. Fake snap mechanic. Let's move this down a little bit. Fake snap is a 100% chance of max chance of causing jump the first time, 60%. So you only ever need one fake snap is what they're saying, right? So like doing a second or a third one, it's not even worth it. Only once if you need a jump, but this is, again, MUT, I don't think defensive linemen jump. Once you utilize fake snap mechanic more than 12 times in a game, an additional 50% chance reduction across the board. Having the strip ball trait added to a flat 5% strip bonus, okay? Strip ball trait does matter, 5%. Not having the strip ball trait adds a flat 5% strip reduction. In addition, a different curve gets used. You get 100% of the value at 90 with strip trait. Without strip trait, you get 90% of the value at 99. So strip ball, yes, and have at least 90. I think it's the tackle stat is how this works, right? The tackle stat, we've seen this in previous knowledge drops from I think it was either Madden Dev or I think it was MUT Leaks before also. So FYI on that. Strip ball missing traits. I'm not going to go through this. Strip ball missing trait, you only get 90% of the value at 99 on the attributes. All right. Ball rules deep dive. Okay, so let's talk about O'Doyle and ball rules. Defender close catch check is half a yard. So basically, when you throw a ball to a receiver, if the defender's within a half a yard, that's called a close catch, okay? Defender collision penalty is 30% to the catch, okay? So if you run into him, you get a 30% chance or a penalty to that, all right? Defensive players and offense receive a 25% catch penalty. So like moving Shaz and putting a middle linebacker at tight end, this is the catch penalty, 25%. Defensive players are getting a 50% catching bonus if wide open. This should be 100. Truly, like defensive players should have a 100% catching bonus if wide open. If the offensive guy isn't within a half a yard of him, he should absolutely pick it off 100% of the time. Maybe on sim mode it could be 15%, but on comp mode it needs to be 100. And I think that would help out a lot of the game and how it plays. Offensive players have a 70% chance minimum catch chance if wide open. On MUT, it's probably closer to 100% because all of our guys have such high catching. So this is like, everything from like 20 catching or whatever you have in franchise mode to 90, but like, yeah, 70% chance if wide open. So 30% chance at dropping if your catching is below any like sort of threshold. Minimum default base catch chance of 30%, maximum 100%, scales with ratings and modifiers. Sideline catch chance starts triggering 5 yards from sideline, starts working 0.35 yards from sideline. So you don't trigger those animations, those sideline catch animations within about a third of a yard from the sidelines. For a clear hot, maybe it's clear shot. I don't know. Maybe clear hot is a word they use. Interception mechanic. You must be within 70% angle. Okay, this is kind of like yeah, 100% interception bonus. You need to be at a 70% angle of the incoming ball, 45% angle to the catch point. That's kind of nonsense to me. Let's just skip that. Tip passes below the waist increase catch difficulty by 50%. Tip passes well with jumping increase. Tip passes that you got to jump for increase catch difficulty by 80%. God dang. So if you have to jump at all for a tip, you're probably dropping it. And if it's a low catch, unless you have tip drill or pick artist, there's a decent chance you're going to drop that one. 50% increase of catch difficulty. Wild. Catch knockout scale direct. Like this needs to be lower. Like there should not be that big of a difficulty increase for tip passes. Like those are like the easiest things in the world to catch. It's like knocked up and it's just kind of floating in the air. It doesn't have any velocity on it. Catch knockout scale directly to the severity of the hit. Makes sense. You smack them. It makes it harder to catch the ball. Being tackled midair while catching the ball adds a 45% increased knockout chance modifier. High points have a 10% increased knockout chance modifier. Rack catches have a 25% increased knockout chance modifier. Secure catch has a 20% decreased knockout chance modifier. So FYI, kind of like what we know, if you got to jump, if you got to go over a high point, there's the 10% chance, 10% higher chance it gets knocked out. Same thing, racks are much more riskier than secure catches. That kind of lines up with experience. Impact with an additional tackling defender during catch adds 50% knockout chance. Proximity to trigger is 2.25 yards by default and just under 5 yards for mid-air collisions impacting with defenders. So, yeah, if you throw a ball near a defender and they're within 2.25 yards of you, they've got a good chance of getting that knocked out of you. All right. Using the high point catch adds a flat 20% modifier penalty. Rack is unchanged, and secure catch adds a 25% modifier decrease. So if you high point and secure catch, if you can get the animation, you got a really good chance of catching that ball. All right. Whoops. Max default base catch height is 2.8. Max catch height for a get ball is 0.5. All right, here it is. So linebackers can jump 2.4. Get up, match catch height is 2.4. What is that? Yards? Max catch for SWAT is 3.15. Huh. Weird. Okay. That one I don't really understand as much. Defensive linemen have a 25% catch chance penalty. Defensive players catching over the shoulder while jumping has a 50% catch penalty. Defensive players catching over the shoulder have an 80. Yeah, just over the shoulder have an 80% catch penalty, while jumping have a 50%. So if you're gonna go over the shoulder, you might want you want your guy jumping to get it. Okay. Playing a wide receiver at halfback increases fumble chance by 25%. 7% base recovery chance on onside kicks. And then every onside kick after the first one, you basically have a much reduced rate. Obviously, there's ways of cheesing out onside kicks where this doesn't really come into account. By the way you kick it, obviously, if you can catch them on surprise onsides, that's very important. You must be within 1 yard of a receiver, 0.57 yards from the ball landing spot to be able to jump catch as a linebacker, defensive lineman. Okay, this is important. So 1 yard of the receiver or 0.75 yards from the ball landing spot to be able to jump catch as a linebacker. All other defensive positions must be in 3.5 yards of receiver or ball landing spot. So that's the biggest difference, right? Using safeties, using cornerbacks at your user. We now have the hard numbers. It's a 2.5 yard difference. Makes it a lot easier to user. Obviously, if you throw lurker on your receiver, you get back to the easier way of catching interceptions. When a fumble happens, forced emergency recovery will occur after 6 seconds. If you recall from like previous years where like people just kick it around all the time, and we share clips of it on social media about Madden turning into FIFA. After 6 seconds, somebody's definitely getting it. Minimum SWAT height of 2.25 for invincible SWAT. I don't know what invincible SWAT is, but swatting as the user for a CPU has 30% height modifier, so click on and SWAT, boys. Collision with the offensive player, 50% penalty to SWAT mechanic. Okay? Collision. So if you SWAT, yet you run into the offensive guy, you're going to have a less chance of getting it. Oh, that's kind of too bad. I want SWAT to be more powerful. Celebrate increases fumble chance by 75%. Getting hit while hurdling adds a 50% fumble penalty. Getting hit while diving adds a 15%. Getting hit while diving as a quarterback adds 20%. Now, I've seen so many people jurtle into hit sticks that I don't know. Maybe jurtle doesn't count as hurdling. But yeah, like I dive, I see people dive into me and they don't fumble. So that's why, like, when I look back at these like traits with like, what was it? Running on carrying aggressive, a 20% fumble chance increase lines up kind of close to this 15% chance of Yeah. Getting hit while diving as a quarterback has 20%. Yeah, getting hit while diving has 15%. Now, I've definitely seen quarterbacks fumble a lot, but they're fumbling themselves just at a much higher rate than running backs. So, like, running on aggressive, if, like, I hit people while journaling and I don't cause fumbles, or they dive and I hit them and I don't cause fumbles, running on aggressive, is there not going to be that many fumbles then? And it just, like, gives you much better tackle break? I don't know. Maybe worth the risk, maybe not, but you will fumble more, 20% more with that on versus anything else. All right, let's talk about multiplayer catching. Additional defenders adds 15%. All right, 50. For multiplayer catches, defenders must be within 3.5 yards to impact catch chance. Playing ball increases break tackle by 20%, increases interception chance by 15%, and increases your base win chance by 5%. Okay, so that's the risky. You go for the interception, and if you don't get it, they'll probably break your tackle and score a touchdown if it's one-on-one. Playing receiver decreases break tackle chance by 25%, decreases interception chance by 100%, and decreases your win chance by 15%. So playing receiver, you lose win percentage chance. You're basically looking for a knockout at play receiver. SWAT increases broken chance by 10%, decreases inner chance by 100%. So we can add that to going for the swap mechanic. Where was it, back here or something? Where was the swap mechanic? Wobble. Oh, yeah. Play ball in air. Play ball in air. 20% catch chance increase. 100% break tackle increase for play ball or play man. Okay? So they definitely add something. So, like, if you want to play the man in this situation, right? Don't go for picks, just go to knock the ball out. They won't break your tackle, but they might catch the ball and come down with it. That's the downside. You can't really pick them as well. But yeah, if you're actually going up for the catch, like, those are the traits, and you kind of got to basically run into receivers, I found, because, like, a lot of guys will just, catch in front of your face. So playing receiver, so this is the button you press. Play ball, triangle, play receiver. Is that, SWAT is X, is play receiver A. And decreases your win chance by 15. Yeah, decreases interception chance, decreases interception chance. So SWAT and playing receiver means you won't be going for the ball, but if you want to try and pick it, playing ball, and then add the play ball modifier, okay? Uses a secure catch on offense, decreases interception chance by 10%, decreases break tackle chance by 10%. 24% base interception chance on multiplayer catches, 24% base broken tackle chance on multiplayer interceptions. Wow. So, like, you miss your interception, you get your broken tackle and score. That's like, high risk, high reward. 24% seems kind of high for, like, broken tackle and scores for somebody just chucking a ball up into coverage. That's tough. I wonder if Mutt, and if they change that at all, if they can change that at all. Max distance for positional advantage is 4 yards. Okay. Next. When you have positional advantage, max default win rate is 25%. High point win rate is 30% with positional advantage. Rack catch bonus is 50. Max secure catch chance win bonus is 65%. So what it's telling me is, like, you want positional advantage. Yeah, then there's max and min default rate wins. 2 bullet points scale literally between 1 and 4 yard separation from minimum to maximum. So the further you are away from somebody, the better bonuses you get to catching the ball. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Where's the next slide? What's going on here? What is happening? There it is. Okay. Don't know what that was about. You receive a variable on a potential knockout chance. Oh, yeah. Here's just graphs showing the chance based off your catch rating. So, percentage of knockout penalty. If you have high catching, the chance that it'll get knocked out goes down. Makes sense. Tip pass modifier. When a pass is tipped, a modifier is applied based on distance from the tip pass. Yeah, so you want to be closer to a tipped ball to catch it. And that's about it for that graph. Multiplayer spec win chance by ratings difference. In a multiplayer catch situation, win chance is based off rating difference. The below charts are used for rack, spec, secure. So if you have catching versus, say, zone or man coverage, depending on what your defense is in or what the defense is. So say my catching rating is 90 and your zone is 70, right? So I got a 0.2 higher chance than you, like 0.2 rating difference. my win chance goes up to 25. Yeah, multiplayer catch situations. So it's I don't know. It's pretty close, right? Multiplayer catch spec win chances. Huh. That's it. That's not that much. Your win chance modifier. Weird. I figured it'd be bigger. But yeah, the ratings difference as for MUT cards, this really doesn't come into effect at all. Like, because like zone coverages, man coverages, those are hitting high 90s. Our catching's hitting high 90s. And like this needs to be like 20 points difference to get any sort of like mega difference. Like in franchises makes sense, but for MUT cards, very little difference because it'll be around this 0 number for the win chance. So, that's too bad. I mean, although to be fair, you really shouldn't be specking dudes. You really shouldn't be throwing them up and being that successful based off their numbers. So, it is what it is. Multiplayer catch secure win chance by rating. That's why like catching stats are cool, but because like the graph of differences, like you really need to be significantly better than somebody to get your win chance to go like anywhere higher, right? You need to be like head and shoulders above them to get that pay to win aspect. Whereas if you're only if you're only like 1 or 2 ratings better or 1 or 2 ratings worse, it really doesn't matter. Is what basically this graph is showing. So the game's not designed for MUT. The game's designed for franchise. Multiplayer catch rack win chance by ratings difference. So rack win chances are a big deal though, right? Because if you're worse than them by even like, I guess that's 0.1, 10 worse, that's a lot. Like say you're catching traffic. If you have I would say 85 catching traffic and they have a 95 zone, your win chance is 10%. Whereas if you have a 95 catching traffic and they have an 85 zone, your rack win chance is 65%. So this one's much more, see how close it is and how it scales quickly based off rating differences. This one's more made for MUT than anything else. Rack win chances. So FYI, you're going to want high man or zone to lower this. As high, if you play man coverage, you want high-end man coverage to get that win chance all the way down here to knock it out. Of course, abilities play into it. We don't have anything about abilities. There'll be a different one down the road, he said, about abilities. Playmaker. Okay? I hate Playmaker. On current gen, Playmaker's overpowered attack. Next gen, luckily, it's not as powerful. But there's an initial delay of 2 seconds for Playmaker mechanic, obviously not including the ability. Response delay of 0.5 seconds for Playmaker mechanic. Frequency limit of 1 per 3 seconds. Angle limit of 55 degrees on a direct receiver. Input angle for direction is randomized by 20%. Again, this is not the ability. Distance limit of 35 yards on direct receiver for your Playmaker. So there it is. There's a randomized directional and depends on your angle, and there's input delays on it too. Exploit manager deep dive. All right. Nano detection. Only applies in head-to-head online games. Only one level. So if you outrush your rushers versus blockers, I don't think it really works that well. You can get to your nano. If you blitz 6 against 5, you're going to get home unless they get the ball out. Max time for nano to occur via CPU rush is 1.5 seconds. Outnumbered is point. Okay, so I guess if you get through within 3/4 of a second, outnumbering them, then it will nano detect you. But if you get through in like a second, then it won't. Whereas if you nano them without giving more rushers than blockers, it's 1.5. So this is one of those things maybe you want to have your user on a blitz to add to that, to take away this nano problem. Protection versus user rush is 0.75 seconds regardless. So if you user rush and get through too quickly, they will nano detect you also. Weak box. I guess I did not know weak box got disabled if your defense if the defense is up by 8+. So if you're winning by a lot, you can go ahead and sit in your dollar formations against I form. Is that true? I was wondering why weak box was so what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and these disabling seems to be why. Disabled is after 60. Disabled if there is less than 60 seconds left in the half. Dang, I thought you don't weak box people anymore at the end of the half, huh? Weird. Or end a game. That's something I want to test out, obviously. And the weak box mechanic is a 15% modifier to defensive speed, strength, tackle, awareness, agility, and acceleration. That's something we've definitely seen. You also get pancaked a lot. But yeah, 15% modification to these attributes if you get weak boxed. That's why you generally don't want to come out in dollar or dime sets against 2 tight ends or 2 running back sets. All right. Head tracking is basically coverage, right? Head tracking means like, hey, I'm facing the quarterback, and now I'm going to break on the ball because he throws it. Whereas if I'm turned away from the quarterback, there will be a half-second break on ball penalty if you aren't looking at the quarterback when it's thrown. Max trail distance is 5 yards for man coverage. Max leg time for man coverage is 1 second. The following curve is used to determine leg time based off man coverage rating. So if you have high-end man coverage rating, you will not have any leg time in reacting to a ball as long as you see it. Okay? As long as you're looking towards the quarterback, okay, you will have no leg time. Now, here's the awareness. So if you have 99 awareness, you can basically be, like, I would say not like fully turn. You're still going to forget it, right? Imagine the player, his eyes are looking towards the bottom of the screen. The red part is where he won't be able to see, and where he'll get that 0.5 second break on ball penalty mentioned previously. So if you only have like 60 awareness on defense, you are going to get the full basically 0.5 second break if you're turned away from the quarterback, right? So less chance of villain. Basically, that's what it is, right? Higher awareness. The problem is like it's good, but generally like if you're running like streaks and stuff in the zones faced away from the quarterback anyways, like there's a clear out, the awareness isn't going to matter because the quarterback will be in this red zone anyways, even with 99 awareness. But like if they're going sideways or something in man or zone, then they won't then they'll be able to recognize them with higher end awareness. But like it's about the, half and half at 91, 92. So there you go. Passing deep dive. Okay. Placeholder description. Omega low. An accuracy penalty is applied when you exceed the listed distance on the listed throwing type. So there's an accuracy penalty on bullets over 20 yards. It's not that great of a penalty in MUT. I know that. Throwing off the back foot applies a throw power penalty of 33%. I'm not so sure because back foot animations are weird. Now, if you guys know the animations that quarterback gets when they're under pressure, that is not a back foot throw animation, okay? So like say a blitzer's coming through and they're about to hit your quarterbacks. You know how you get like that dive away, like Jalen Hurts has got a good one, but like they that is not the back foot animation. The back foot animation is when you're like running away from the line of scrimmage and then you do like a 360 no scope type. That's kind of like when you're running away from it. That's kind of like throwing off the back foot, if you know what I mean. Okay? Hopefully that's clear. Throw animation and therefore timings vary based on pass distance. So if you're throwing an over 60-yard pass, you're going to get the long animation on your quarterback. If you're throwing, looks like 50 to 60 yards down the field, you're going to medium animation. Short, wait. I think I screwed that up. Short animations are up to 20 yards. Okay? Medium animations are up to 50 yards. Long animations 50 to 60, and I think there's a very long animation, which is over 60. Now, we'll talk about throw power distances in a second and what your throw power and how far you can go. Spoiler alert, the farthest you can throw the ball without abilities like, the X Factor, rocket one, whatever, I forgot what that's called, it's 68 yards. So there's only an extra long animation for 60 to 68 yards. Actually, I've seen balls thrown longer than 68, so we'll talk about it. Well, I don't know if we want to talk about it, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So there it is. Short animations, the quickest one, medium animations, and the long animations. It is weird that long animations are only between 50 and 60 yards instead of 40 and 60, and they'd balance it out more. Throw accuracies, and therefore the rating used vary based off pass distance. Throw accuracies, short, medium, long. You guys know throw accuracies. They're listed on every single card. So there's throw animations and throw accuracies. I hope that doesn't confuse you. They're different distances depending on what you're looking for. All right, pressure. Must be within 3.5 yard radius for pressure to apply. Apply minimum pressure penalty at 3.5 yards. If within 1.5 yard radius or closer, maximum pressure penalty. Pressure does not apply until 2.2 seconds after the snap. So you can't just blitz through and get that instant pressure missed throws. It's going to be after 2.2 seconds. Shovel passes. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Shovel passes 3 to 7 yards. I don't really see a lot of shovel passes. I don't care that much. Precision passing, aka high-low passing. A deep high pass is a 15% accuracy penalty. Medium 10. Short high passes are 50% accuracy penalties. I'm not so sure it's 50. It feels better this year than it did last year. I'll just say that. Deep low, medium low, short low. So yeah, it's like 1 out of 20 short low passes I've definitely seen missed. Medium low, I guess I throw more medium low passes than short lows, but there is an accuracy penalty for them. So that's something that you want, like, 99 throw accuracy medium. So that way, if you throw a low point, you're really not going to suffer that much with an 89 accuracy at that point, or around 89. Okay. Using a precision pass slows the remainder of the route down by 10%. Interesting. I see that, right? I think I see that. Because if you throw a low point against like man coverage, it'll be like throw behind, the defender will catch up and intercept it, right? You can't throw low points against it. High points, they'll catch up and knock out your legs against you too. So I definitely feel like I've seen this before. Precision passes are not great against man coverage, except for like streaks. If you're past them throwing a high point on a streak, I feel like it's a pretty good location for you. Using a precision pass slows down the speed of your target's jump by 25%. Low pass has a minimum height of half a yard. Maximum time for a target to adjust the high pass is 0.5 seconds. Max time is 1.5 seconds. Yeah, last 2 points don't really matter. I don't really believe in these thresholds anymore. It is what it is. Derrick Henry's hit enough deep throws that I don't really believe in 90 deep. Throw on the run. He said it was legacy. I mean, he kind of said it was a legacy thing, so that's why I don't believe it anymore. He even stated that's legacy. Throwing on the run, there's penalties from 15 to 65%. Movement speed, if you're over 50% max speed, you get an accuracy penalty of 20%. Again, there's a max power penalty of 10% if you're moving that fast. Movement speed exceeds penalty scale to speed factor. Random 25% penalty can be applied on any throw on the run. Interesting. And there's angles that you could throw at. We don't have to go over that. Accurate penalty of 10%, inaccurate penalty of 20%, uncontrolled angle penalty of 30%, depending on what angle you're throwing the ball at, throwing towards your dominant or away from your dominant, which is why I prefer throwing and rolling out to the dominant arm. It just feels better, and obviously the numbers support that. Repeated pump fakes has a 1 second cooldown. Pump fakes don't really work in MUT. They might work in sim mode, but not in MUT, so I don't really worry about them. If throwing during controlled rollout, an accuracy penalty is applied. Minimum of 2%, maximum 25%. Really depends on your throw on the run, I believe. Number, here it is. Passes by throw power up to 68 yards if you have 99 throw power right there. But yeah, at 50 throw power, max throw distance is 40 yards. And then it scales 0.5 yards per throw power. All right. Here is a lot of people get confused by this. In accuracies and what we call thresholds. So basically what's happening is once you get to 70 throw accuracy, short, medium, deep, okay? Once you get to 70 as your accuracy rating, you're going to hit 85% of your throws. You see it in the thing below, right? But below that, below 65, you are gonna miss a ton. You won't be able to hit water if you fall out of a boat. Okay? But once you get to 70, especially over 80, you're hitting most all your passes. And it's that's what we say, why throwing accuracies, they're cool and all, but really at a certain point they're good enough. So this is kind of what I'm talking about with thresholds, is the way the graph scales. There's not that much difference. This is why I like MUT cards. This is why this game wasn't designed for MUT cards. It still isn't designed for MUT cards because it's no differences on accuracies. Okay? Although in a competitive game mode, the reason that it is because people hate random inaccurates. So that's why they made this flat graph kind of at the top. It's because they don't want, people don't want to have their quarterbacks miss the throws. Throw on the run penalty at 60 or below throw on the run. There's 100% penalty. All right? The penalty is only 70% of it at 99. So obviously, the higher your throw on the run, the less chance of a penalty lines up with expectations. Throw under pressure penalty. You'll get 100% of the penalty at 60 or below on that rating. And then you only get 45% of the penalty. So if your throw under pressure is high, pressure's not going to affect you as much. It lines up with expectations, right? Not much has to be said about that one. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, that was the last one. All right, we got more stuff to come. I don't know. It was in depth. It was a long video. Sorry, 40 minutes of nerd stuff. Hopefully it helped. I think Mutt Leaks will be putting out the documents for you to look at soonish on his Twitter account. But hopefully I explained this a little bit. Just repeat the parts you didn't understand and just go back and replay it and stuff. But that's it. A lot more fun stuff to come about Madden. Until next time, please like, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I don't know how many are left after this nerd expectation. Type 1 in the comments if you're still left here at the end. I want to see how many made it the full 40 minutes. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I'll see you tomorrow.